Hi, this is Vea, and today I want to introduce one of the most requested and useful new features with Stratus 4.5 and Edius 8. Edius Project Management. Now, when you're working with Edius, you know that at the start, you get this Start Project window, which when you're not logged onto Stratus and you create a new project, gives you those presets that have been created with Edius and the ability to still customize those presets in case that you wanted to change any of those specific settings. Now, when you log on as a Stratus user, as I'm going to do right now, you work with a Stratus user profile. And when you create a new project, you get the presets that have been created by a system administrator using the Stratus control panel. Under the General Format tab, whichever formats you have set up here will be the ones that appear to you as an available choice within the project settings window in Edius. Now, if you hit the Customize button, that's a new feature that we've added with this latest version, you can still go and change some of these specific settings for those presets. So if you wanted to add more audio channels, or even if you wanted to change the video preset, the frame size, all of that is available when you go into the Customize area, even though you're working under the Stratus logon. So I'm just going to create the project name over here. I'm going to call it Semifinal. I'm going to set OK, and I'm happy with those presets that come from Stratus. Now, when I save this project or when I open this project for the first time, something that is different now is that those projects are stored on a specific location that you predetermine, again, in the Stratus control panel under the Edius tab. Here you can see I have a default project location, and that's where physically the project information will be stored. And that location, if it's shared with all of the different users, can be accessed by multiple editors at the same time. Now, what's really new here, I want you to take a look at this side of the screen, because until recently, when you access Stratus from Edius, you would have always the full Stratus plugin with a whole set of tools and capabilities. Now, we've listened to user feedback, and a lot of our users do not require all of those features. So instead, we've created this Stratus browser, which is a simplified version of the Stratus plugin. You can still navigate through your locations, you can still navigate through the bins and see all of the contents of a specific bin, and of course you can do searches as well. So if I perform a search, I get the results that belong to that search within the whole GV Stratus system. I can see my favorites and I can see the different groups too. Now, you change this within the settings area, system settings in Edius, where you can see the option to either use the Stratus browser as I am right now, or go back to the full Stratus ActiveX. So there's a choice that you can set up according to your requirements. Now, I'm going to just go grab some content, and I'm going to bring some of that content over to, I'm working on a basketball project, and I'm just going to bring that over to my source window as I've always done, and I'm going to do a quick edit, mark in, mark out, drop that onto my sequence there, and I'm actually going to rename that sequence, and I'm going to call this Finals Edit 1. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm just going to do a quick save of this project within Edius, and you will see here down there that I've got that preset of the location where the projects are being saved. As you know, you have an autosave with Edius, so every certain time, whatever you set it up to be, 3 minutes, 1 minute, the project information will be saved. Now, if I go to Stratus, here's what's new with the Edius project management. We have a new node within the Stratus database called Edius projects. And here is where my different projects will be saved automatically and checked in for other users to see. So you can see I'm working on the semi-final project. So there it is. And I can see the sequence that I've created so far, Finals Edit 1. When I double click on it, I can see it in the Object Inspector, and I can see all of the metadata related to that project. So the specific formats, when it was created, what system, the duration, marking, all of those properties. And not only that, if I look under references, I can actually see the source material and load that clip. So this is the source clip that is being used on that sequence so far. I'm just going to go back to Edius, and I'm going to create a new sequence so you can see how that information gets automatically checked in. So I'm just going to call this one my second sequence, and I'm going to call it Finals Edit 2. And, oh well, 23, it doesn't really matter. And if I then add some content to that and I check in that again into my Stratus check-in folder, you can see that now I have another sequence called finals edit 23, or whatever it is that I've spelled and I cannot spell. So that's a good point. Let's actually go and change that spelling because it's totally incorrect. And I want to make sure that everyone can see the correct title. So this is my finals edit 2. And I'm going to again make sure that that shows up correctly, and you can see that in Stratus that's now also checked in correctly. So I've got the 2 sequences that I'm using on my edits, on my projects. The great thing about that is that if I'm another editor now, I can just go and see, well, let's see what my colleague has been doing. There's the finals edit, but also within Edius, I can go back to my Stratus browser window and I can go over to the Edius projects node. And you can see here, here's my semi-final project. And if let's just close this project and create a new one. And this is going to be the semis promo. So another user is working on the semis also, but he is working on the promo. So I can easily go to see the semi-final project and bring that sequence onto my timeline. And the other user could still be working on that sequence. I'm not modifying it. I'm not affecting his work. But now within my promos project, I've actually got a copy of that sequence. So you can see how this really allows you to share content between different editors, to access projects that other editors are using, and to take a look at their sequences and take it from there. So I can see all of the edit points that that particular sequence may have. Not only that, you can also group up your projects. So let's say in a news environment, you can have a top folder called news, and inside you can have Monday projects, Tuesday projects, and so on. And you can move projects between different folders within the project node. Now, while your Edius project is open and being edited, the project and all of its included sequences and clips are locked in the GV Stratus application. So nobody else can actually affect your work or even delete it. If somebody else decides to open your project, it will be open as read-only, and that other user will be asked to save it under a different name if they make any modifications. Now, the great thing and the change again that has happened with this Edius project management and the GV Stratus is that the assets are protected based on the relationships. So all of the assets under the project group, so every asset that is associated here, all of the sequences and all of the source material that is used on those sequences, they are protected for as long as they exist on a project. So if a sequence is under a project that is still live within Stratus, and you've of course got the source material associated with the sequence, those source clips will not be deletable until the sequence and the project are gone. And that of course allows you to protect content in such a way that you're not going to find media offline whenever you next open your project. So what I've shown you so far is our phase 1 of the Edius project management implementation, the ability to see the projects within Stratus, all of the Stratus users who have permissions to see these projects nodes. So you must give users the ability to see these projects nodes. It's related to users or user groups permissions. So they'll be able to navigate through the projects, take a look at any sequences, open the sequence, see the properties, and also see the source material that is related to that sequence. And the folders and subfolders can be removed from the Edius projects node in Stratus if you have delete permissions, but they will still remain on the shared drive. We will add more features in new releases, such as completely removing the projects, copying projects, and support for non-video assets to be checked in as well. So stay tuned for more features, more capabilities with GV Stratus and Edius project management.